What up, everybody? Man, I know it's been a while since I've done a movie review, and I am back tonight to present a very special one to you. But I gotta say, like, initially leaving the theater, I said, let me pick up some food, eat it, get this review together, blah, blah, blah. But man, I'm just so excited that the fact that I said, you know what, let's just do this now. Let's do it round, food can wait. So we're gonna do this unedited, unscripted, one cut, very direct to the point, very true to my feelings, and that means I'm going to bring you the review of Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of the one Harley Quinn. This movie right here. Yes. I got a bunch of swag, actually. I got that, and I got these cool pins, so it was a good day. I also got the big poster too, which is just sitting all wrapped up right here, so I'll get that handled later. But man, this movie was also, first of all, this movie is after Harley Quinn, she breaks up with Joker, as we know, their toxic relationship that they have, and now she decides that she has to stand on her 2 feet, so she teams up with some other people, Black Canary and Huntress and Renee Montoya, and they have to save this little girl. So that's pretty much the gist of the movie. But there's so much other stuff I need to really talk about too. One being Margot Robbie producing this movie, and if you follow social media, or you just know just a sense of the type of person she is, she's truly into fashion. Her fingerprints are all over this and that notion 100%. Because like one of the first things I wanted to talk about too is, and I want to make sure I break this down so that you guys understand, because I know what I'm thinking, but I want to make sure I get that point over to you. Is like, for one, this movie has vibrant colors, and when I say vibrant colors, it's very bold and like just a ton. The array of colors are just all over the place. So like, when you say like bright and colorful, a lot of people think like, oh, well, like Guardians of the Galaxy. Absolutely not like Guardians of the Galaxy. This is really true too, and I know I'm gonna say this point a lot, but if you're keeping up with just like the styling of how a lot of new music videos are being done now, and even a lot of people's photography, if you ask me too, using these really rich and bold colors to kind of offset things, they've done this beautifully in this movie. Very true to what you may have seen in the trailers for this movie, consistent throughout this movie. Matter of fact, this movie does a lot of things consistent that I'm very cool with. If you are a subscriber to the DC Universe app, if you're watching that Harley Quinn animated show on there, this movie follows suits of that. It has the adult humor, and it's just really good. The narration done by Margot Robbie in this movie is absolutely fantastic. It's fantastic. It's one of her best performances in playing Harley Quinn. She's really truly good. The one thing about this movie, I'm just gonna say, I was gonna wait till the end, but I'll just say it now. So this movie, when you're talking about the DC, the DC universe, cinematic universe, you're thinking like, okay, so where does this movie fit? Well, it obviously comes after Suicide Squad. However, it doesn't feel like a straight like timeline of some sense. This to me feels like it's like a special, like, for instance, like the holiday special, the Harley Quinn special of things. Because what this movie does, which is uncharacteristic of 95% of DC movies, is that it's light, it is very funny, it's light in the sense of tone, it's light in the sense of color, where especially and traditionally in DC films, it's dark, it's gritty. Even in the Batman films itself, it is just it's always really dark in tone, and this movie is the complete opposite. It's just a light with a bunch of colors. Half the movie, I ain't gonna say half, 95% of the movies during the day. I mean, Gotham during the day, I don't even recall if I even seen that in any of the movies, but this movie was majority of Gotham during the day. So it made it very, very clear. Although it wasn't Gotham, we had all these different Batman related movies, this movie was just totally different. It did a lot of jumping around. What I mean by that, like flashbacks type of stuff. So you kind of had to like, and it was cool. It was like one of those like, I say more something like how Deadpool did a little bit, where like you're like talking about something. It's like, oh yeah, here's how we got to that. Go back, typewriter type of theory. You know, there was a bunch of that going on. Which something else I really love is that they did these little video game cut screens where if somebody's introduced, they'll show them and their name and something funny about them. I really like that. With the captions were always pretty funny. Always gave a really good laugh. And while Harley Quinn, everyone wanted her dead, which is pretty much the gist of it. Because they say, hey, if she's not with Joker anymore, like then she's like an easy target. Because everyone's scared of Mr. J. It's still, as serious as that is, because like I'll get to it in a second, like it still was able to really keep the character very true to her comic book nature, very uppity, witty, and just overall just and intelligent too. Let's not forget Margot Robbie. She just kills the role. Very, very good. I mean, it was after her performance in that terrible movie Suicide Squad. I mean, this is what the fans wanted, and she just doubled down on her amazing performance in this movie. Something else I gotta say, I don't know if I said it already too, but God, if I didn't, I apologize. The soundtrack in this movie was amazing. You found out within the first 3 minutes of this movie. You just knew, and throughout the entire movie, the soundtrack was good. And this is why I said I was gonna come back to it. This is why it felt like not just a special, but like a music video at times, because the music was so good, the action was going on, the cinematography that was surrounding around it with the color play, it just was just all welly put together, so good. And again, just much like the promotional material that was attached to this movie, it just was very accurate to that. The fighting choreography was also very good as well too. These women, they kick butt the entire time in this movie, and I want to put emphasis on that. The woman was the focal point of this movie, and although and I'll talk about it in 1 second, there wasn't a lot of males in this movie, and it definitely was noticeable. But the women were absolutely just flat out amazing in all aspects. And like I said, the fighting choreography was really, really solid, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Ewan McGregor, what can you say? What can you say? He's absolutely the man. And when you want to talk about the bright spots, like who was the stars in the movie, obviously Margot Robbie. Ewan was pretty good. And then the little girl that plays in this movie, Ellen Basco, who plays Cassandra Cain. The three of them did their thing in this movie, and really, really, really kept this almost 2-hour movie, the tone just so consistent. No matter who was being shown, whoever was being shown on screen at the time, they just kept the flow going. Super, super accurate. But like I said, Ewan, who played Roman Sionis, who was ultimately the bad guy in this movie, although being the bad guy, you just enjoyed him the entire time in it. The dialogue in this movie, what can you expect? Especially by the two names I just mentioned. They absolutely was one of the most enjoyable things. Now, while I said the choreography was good, there wasn't a lot of action, but with the dialogue in this movie, it absolutely balanced it out, and it kept you really invested the entire time. And even with the choreography too, the slow motion shots that they shown was it was really good. But like I said, like, this movie felt like legit like a special, especially after Suicide Squad, because you're just like, well, how does this kind of fit in? And then after a while, you just don't care. But it's just like, cool, I'm enjoying for what this movie is doing by itself as a standalone. Although we know it's involved in some sort in that timeline or whatever you want to call it. It just does its own thing, and you're totally cool with it. I just think that, I can't forget about this. Talk about the choreography and the fighting. Dude, the scenes where bones are breaking and gore, people are being killed, very reminiscent of Mortal Kombat 11 and Injustice. If you play those video games and you know those bone crunching scenes, every single time that happened in the movie, everyone was like ooh and ahhing the entire time. It was nuts. It was absolutely nuts. And what you can expect? It's Harley Quinn. You know you're gonna get some of that. And like I said, true like the animated television show on DC Universe, it's just like that. It's just live action, and I just thoroughly enjoyed it. But the last thing I'm gonna say is that two last thing I'm gonna say is that final act is absolutely just amazing from every element that I talked about. It truly ups the ante. And although the tone fluctuates just a little bit at this moment, it does reel it back. But just everything, this one shot, the third act when they're in the circus house, the shot of them going into it is just flat out great. Just flat out great. And like I said, with all the other DC movies that are just so dark toned and just dark tone and you know, serious, this movie just isn't serious. It's just absolutely fun. And it's an experience in the sort of set, because like I said, with the visuals and everything that's happening, the music, you're just thoroughly enjoying the entire time. As much as they reference the Joker in this movie, I mean, you can't talk about Harley Quinn without the Joker. There is no Joker in this movie, which is great because they keep it focused on these characters. And while these characters are, you know, do not possess superpowers, they tend to keep it that way until a certain point, which I kind of was like, why do that? Because they made it true. They made it their point to make it known that you didn't have to have superpowers in order to kick ass, in order to get the job done, whatever it may be. And no one had superpowers in this whole time, which is, you know, some of the best reasons why I like anything that's kind of related to Gotham, because with Batman, you're not talking about superpowers, you're just talking about execution and tactics to get missions done and so forth. So a lot of that was happening until a point where they didn't, and that kind of bothered me just a little bit. But nonetheless, I enjoyed this movie. I think if there's an opportunity to see it in the IMAX, definitely do so, because it's just that enjoyable to spend the extra money to just see better visuals, better sound, and probably better seating depending on what theater you're going to. And make sure you stay to the very, 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 very end, because there's one more laugh cocked in the chamber for you guys. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments. Thank you always for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe now. We got tons of more stuff coming up. And again, this movie is definitely a go see, people. You will enjoy it. You will have fun. You will laugh. Do not take your kids. I know how much Harley Quinn is just trending all over the place, but don't take your kids, because this is an adult movie with an adult time, and it's absolutely fun. It makes it very, very clear that in the very beginning, as soon as it opens up, like, hey, yeah, you might want to cover your kids' guys if you bring them, because they shouldn't be seeing this stuff. But nonetheless, you're gonna have a good time. You will have and the performances is all good, everything. So just go check it out, people. It comes out this Friday. But again, thank you for tuning in, and catch you for the next one.